ॐ ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्यनामने गौरतुसे नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। Hare Krishna. So we welcome everyone for today's discussion on Srimad Bhagavad Gita. So yesterday we discussed from chapter 1 and verse number 43. Utsankula dharmanam manusyanam janardana narake niyatam vaso bhavattiti anusushruma. So in this verse, Arjuna explained that as soon as Kula Dharma, the family tradition, Varnashram Dharma is destroyed, so all the people, Manushya, human beings, will become bereft of the opportunity to perform religious activities, and especially the most important religious activity is to serve the Supreme Lord, to become devotee. So they will not get the opportunity to perform devotional service to the Supreme Lord, and that will create a situation for them to go to hell for eternity. It this I have heard from disciplic succession. So this will be a great, a greatly sinful activity, my dear Lord. This will not be good for the living entities in general. So speaking like this, now Arjuna is he's feeling very astonished. With all astonishment, he is speaking this verse 44. He says, Aho bat mahat papam kartum vyavasita vayam yad rajya sukhalobhena hantum swajanamutyata. Alas, how strange it is that we are preparing to commit greatly sinful acts, driven by the desire to enjoy royal happiness. We are intent on killing our own kinsmen. So in this way, Arjuna finally expresses his great astonishment, great wonder, uh, and he's feeling very morose, very repentant. He says, Aho, alas, it is so very uh, a strange thing that Mahat Papam, not just Papam, to kill somebody is a pap, sinful activity. uh, to just in order to fulfill one's own sense gratification, to kill somebody, to cheat somebody, to steal somebody's wealth, uh, that is sinful activity, surely. But Arjuna, he has already explained in last two three verses how by killing these people in this battlefield, these warriors, just for the sake of getting some kingdom, Rajya Sukh Lobhena, uh, not it's not that just these people will be killed, but the after effect is also very dangerous. After effect in upcoming generation, all will become engaged in sinful activity. So that is why he's telling Mahat Papam. It is greatly sinful act, great sinful act. So all those activities which which are done in this world, which destroys the culture, Vedic culture, which forces one to perform sinful activity. So all those causes are actually Mahat Papam, great sinful activity. Uh, so the what is the greatest sinful activity? People are engaged in all kinds of nonsense activity. That is sinful activity, no doubt about it. But those conditions, situations, which forces a person to perform sinful activity, that is the greatest of sinful act, Mahat Papa. And what is that? This modernization, westernization, this modern education system. Because this modern education system is like slaughterhouse in which the religious sentiments of a person is killed. And because of this, the younger generation, the generation after generation, they have no faith in religious activities and they become engaged in sinful activity. So that is Mahat Papa. Kartum Vyavasita Vayam. We have engaged, we are prepared. Kartum Vyavasita Vayam means we are prepared, my dear Krishna. How strange it is that we are prepared to perform such a great sinful activity just for Rajya Sukha Lobhena, driven by the greed for royal happiness. Yad Rajya Sukha Lobhena, Hantum Swajanam Udyata. For the sake of getting some royal happiness, Rajya Sukha, we are prepared to kill our own relatives. That itself is a very astonishing thing which we should not do just for the sake of acquiring this kingdom, Rajya Sukh, some property, some land, some wealth. One should not be prepared to harm one's own relatives. Swajan, Hantum Swajanam, Udyata. One should not try to do this. That itself is a very bad activity. But here it is going to create Mahat Papam. It will be greatly sinful activity. So this is not at all good for us to do this. Uh, so that's why Arjuna is finally expressing his complete discouragement that he's not going to fight at all. This is not at all to be done. Purport Srila Prabhupada writes, driven by selfish motives, one may be inclined to such sinful acts as the killing of one's own brother, father, or mother, which we see, which happens. Many times we hear these news that driven by selfish motives, out of greed to acquire some amount of money or some land, people even they go to the extent of killing their own blood relative. One kills one own brother, father. uh, so such a harmful effect of greed. Rajya Sukh Lobhena, Lobh is so powerful. All these anarthas, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsar, these anarthas are so powerful that one becomes so blinded that he cannot even see that uh, the opposite person is his own real blood relative. Uh, One who becomes Kamandha, Krodhandha, out of anger, Krodha. Growth is so powerful, anger is so powerful that sometimes it has been seen that a mother kills her own child because of anger. A father kills his own children because of extreme anger. Krodh, lobhand, and similarly greed. Out of greed, one becomes so blinded that he kills his own real blood relative. That's why Krishna says in the upcoming chapters, he says, there's Kama, Krodha, Lobha. These three are highways to hell, straight highways to hell. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, lust, anger, and greed. If somebody is affected by this, so much influenced by Kama, Krodha, and greed, anger, Kama, Krodha, and Lobha, lust, anger, and greed, then definitely he will become so blinded that he will be unable to see his own relative. Uh, so, Swajanam, one's own brother, father, and mother. There are many such instances in the history of the world. It has happened. Nowadays, also, it is happening. And in the history, also, earlier, also, it has happened many times that people try to kill their own relatives, blood relatives, just for just because of fulfilling their some of lusty desires, just because of greed. But Arjuna, being a saintly devotee of the Lord, is always conscious of moral principles. That is the nature of a devotee. So devotee, he is always, because he is working on superior platform. His heart is completely free. His heart is completely pure. So there is no question of acting immorally. Uh, a devotee never acts immorally. In general, he is always very moral because he is freed from why a person acts immorally because of these nasty desires, anarthas, unwanted desires, especially lust, anger, and greed. These are very powerful anarthas. Because of these anarthas, a person acts immorally in this material world. But as soon as a person is freed from these anarthas and he has become pure hearted soul, so there is no question of any kind of criminal activities. Uh, so anyone who is interested to stop all kind of nonsense and criminal activities, he should make effort, endeavor to cleanse his own heart and others' heart from unnecessary, unwanted anarthas, unwanted things, lust, anger, and greed. Uh, One time in America, there was an article came in a magazine, crime, what, what and what to do, what it is and what to do. Crime, why and what to do. That was the article. Yeah, crime slash why and what to do. Why does crime happens and what to do about it? Because American government they were trying their all best means spending many millions of dollars to stop criminal activities, especially the younger generation hippies. They were so much involved in performing all kinds of criminal activities that the government failed to control it. They applied all the various means and they spent all many millions of dollars, but they couldn't. So this article came. When Prabhupada read this article, he replied back that we have the perfect solution without any expenses. We have perfect solution to stop all kinds of criminal activities. So the commissioner of that particular state, he read that Prabhupada's article, and he also heard about how Srila Prabhupada, within few years, he transformed so many of American younger generation hippies. From hippies, they became happies. They gave up all kinds of nonsense activities, intoxication, illicit sex, gambling, meat eating. They gave up everything, and they became very saintly person. So, so he knew, yes, it is very effective, so let us meet with this Indian saint. He may guide us something. So that commissioner came and there was discussion. So Srila Prabhupada he asked this question. First of all, he asked this question. Say why there is crime? What forces one to perform criminal activity? So that person he was telling something, and somewhat correct because of bad desires, wrong desires, one performs criminal activity. So these are all. But then Srila Prabhupada finally concluded. He told him specifically because as long as there are lust within the heart, there is greed within the heart, anger, all these anarthas, lust, anger, greed, envy, illusion, madness, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mad, matsar. So these are anarthas, unwanted things, impurities within the heart. The person even unwillingly he will be forced to perform sinful activity. Nobody can stop. He doesn't want, he may not be desiring to perform those criminal activities, but he will be forced from within to perform those activities. And after getting the punishment, he will still come out and perform the same again criminal activity. He will be forced to do. Just like a person who is addicted to intoxication. So he knows this intoxication. In the beginning, he may be illusioned that I will take intoxication, I will become happy. But when as soon as he becomes addicted, he can understand this intoxication is such a nasty thing. I'm suffering a lot because of this addiction of intoxication. I want to give up. I want to give it up. But still, he cannot give it up. Why? Because the force is there, such a great force from within the heart comes that he cannot give it up. So that is the problem. And similarly, all other kinds of these anarthas, they force one to perform all kinds of sinful activity. So as long as one is given the opportunity to clear off, to cleanse their heart from all kinds of anarthas, one will be forced again and again to perform this sinful activity. Then that is why Srila Prabhupada then suggested him and he told him that we have the first class means by which the heart can be fully cleansed. And that means is to perform congregational chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So we are doing it on a small scale. We have few members, few younger generations, boys and girls. They are performing congregational chanting, and you can see how nicely they have become situated, and they are completely freed from all kinds of nasty material activities, sinful activities, criminal activities. You can see from your own eyes, and he was seeing, so he was convinced also. Then Prabhupada said, if your American government, they give us this facility to perform this Sankirtan congregational chanting in a large scale, mass scale, so we can organize it very perfectly all over your state, all over your country, to benefit everyone, and then all the criminal activities will be stopped. So although he was convinced, but some or other he could not accept it because he thought Swamiji will spread this Hinduism in this country. So Prabhupada told, we are not Hindus, and we are not interested in making a Christian into Hindu, a Hindu into Christian, Muslim into Christian or Hindu. This is all nonsense thing. This is all bodily designation. How does it matter? Hmm. It doesn't matter. Suppose if a person who is very greedy or who is very lusty and he is wearing pant shirt, if you give him to wear dhoti kurta, so will he become free from lust and greed? No. If you make him wear any other like dress, so that does not make any difference. Similarly, this conversion, Hinduism, Muslim, Christian, you may convert. Actually, there is no ism. There is only dogism. One may profess to be a Muslim or Christian or Hindu, but nobody is in this material world. Nobody is a true Hindu, true Muslim, true Christian. Srila Prabhupada said, we are true Christian because we follow all the commandment of Jesus Christ. So we are actually true Christian. Yeah. So everyone is just following their nasty material desires. So the root should be cured. The heart should be cured, cleared of all kinds of anarthas. And the only way is this chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra because it is very powerful. It acts like a great medicine. As soon as a person very sincerely chants the holy name of Krishna, Krishna in the form of his holy name enters within the heart of such a person, and he destroys, he cleanses all kinds of material attachments from his heart. Uh, But one has to be serious and one has to be willing to accept this process. Chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is very, very powerful. But the only problem is it has to be done under the guidance of a proper devotee, under the guidance of a bona fide spiritual master, because he can teach us the way, the process, and the attitude with which we take shelter of the holy name. And then, as soon as one chants the true holy name, the holy name of Krishna, Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one may be chanting, but if he is chanting in offensive spirit or in a namabhas stage, so that gives the benefit, but there is no true benefit. But if guided by a bona fide spiritual master, one chants the holy name of Krishna, then surely it has great impact on the chanter, and very quickly he becomes freed from all kinds of attachments, material attachments. So in this way, one can become free from the attachments, and immediately she will not be inclined to perform sinful activity. So, because a devotee like Arjuna here, so Arjuna being a saintly devotee of the Lord is always conscious of moral principles. So, devotee is always, he is the best moralist. Devotee is the best moralist. Others who are not devotees of Krishna, their following of moral principles is only for the sake of maintaining some kind of goodwill with persons in this world so that they may advance in their sense gratification activities. That's all. There is nothing. So therefore, he takes care to avoid such activity. That's why Arjuna is fully conscious of these moral principles and he is unwilling to fight. This is the reason. But Krishna will uh, enlighten Arjuna in the transcendental moral principles. There is two. The moral principles are also two kind of moral principles are there: material moral principles and transcendental moral principles. And the ultimate essence of all moral principle, the ultimate moral principle is to always abide by the instructions of the Supreme Lord Krishna. That is the ultimate moral principle. Because morality means that you act according to the instructions of the superior authority. That is actually morality. Just like to be a moral citizen means to follow the instructions given by the country, given by the nation, whatever the instructions or codes of conduct, laws of conducts are given by the country, the government, to follow those codes. That is actually moral principles. If somebody is working in a company, somebody is studying in a school or college, to follow the instructions or rules and regulations given by the company or school or college, that student or that employee is known as moral employee, moral student, honest person. Similarly, one who follows the instructions or codes of conduct given by the Supreme Lord Krishna, all in all the situation, he is actually perfectly moral person. And what is the most important of all the instructions Krishna gave? The Supreme Lord gave the most important of all the instruction is man manabhav mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. So any person giving up all kinds of other activities, all kinds. If somebody gives up all other activities and just follow this one instruction, which is the most essential instruction, that is to always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna, always chanting the holy name of Krishna with their with heart and devotion, considering himself to be very lowly. If one chants, remembers Krishna all the time, and even if he gives up all other kinds of responsibilities of this material world, still he is the most moral uh, person, and he cannot be blamed for anything else. So that is the most essential principle of uh, morality. The essential principle of morality is to always remember Krishna. So Krishna will teach this to Arjuna. Right now, Arjuna acting like a conditioned soul who is in Dehatma Buddhi, bodily consciousness. He has forgotten those most essential principles of morality, that to follow the instructions of Krishna. So he is acting on material platform, and he is telling, this is Mahat Papa, my dear Krishna. This is the great sinful activity that just for the sake of acquiring some Rajya Sukha Lobhena, some kind of royal happiness, how we can become so much eager to kill our own friends and relatives. This is not at all good. Okay. So in this way, Arjuna finally concludes his fourth reason of not fighting, which is the most important one. So tomorrow we'll discuss then what Arjuna decides to do. Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay. Yes, any question?
Prabhuji, how in this material world does one identify what relative is against us or what relative to go against?
Sorry, I couldn't get it.
How in this material world should one identify what relative should one go against if one has to?
No, no. We are not interested in going against to anybody. What to speak of relatives and friends? We are not even interested, or we are not eager to go against to even to our enemies. Even if somebody who may be our enemy means who may not be very much respectful to us. Even if it is he is disrespectful to us, but if he abides by the instructions of the Supreme Lord, if he agrees to accept Krishna's instructions, we are ready to worship him also. We are ready to serve him also. So what do we speak of relatives? And on the other hand, even if somebody may be very closest relative to us, but if he is against the instructions of Supreme Lord Krishna, then we may fold our hands and we may just tell Hare Krishna. You may do whatever you want to follow,
Right.
and I have no objection. Everybody has freedom, but you cannot force me to give up my service to Krishna. So that much we should be determined. So devotee
Uh,
by nature, he doesn't want to argue with anyone. He doesn't want to become angry upon anyone. He doesn't want to fight with anyone. No, not at all. He is always willing to accept everyone. Ajat
right.
Shatruva. Devotee is Ajat Shatruva means A devotee has nobody has taken birth who is enemy of a devotee. Ajat means no, without janma, without birth. So
Mhm.
nobody exists in this world who
Just
is
like
enemy.
Yudhishthir Maharaj.
Yeah, Yudhishthir Maharaj is known as Ajat because he never considered anyone as his
Anybody an
enemy.
enemy. Yeah.
Duryodhana, although he tried a lot to harm Pandavas, even to the extent of killing them by giving poison, by burning their house, Lakshagraha, and so many various means plans means they adopted to kill Pandavas. And Yudhishthira Maharaj, he very well he knew also these things. But still, when once, not only once, many times, when Duryodhana got stuck somewhere and he was about to be killed, Yudhishthira Maharaj protected him, considering him to be his brother, his own relative. So that is the nature of a devotee. He never wants to harm anybody. Okay.
Right. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhanwad Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Thanks a lot.
Yes, anyone else?